Hi Rob, welcome to If Innovation Could Talk.
Hi Eva, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Now,
Good.
Rob, we're going to get into an interesting topic because the legal profession has always been known to be conservative, and it kind of makes sense since you're working in the nature of law and regulations. But Ray's also work with some of the smartest minds in innovation and technology. And Ray's has been around for more than 100 years and is one of the most successful IP law firms in Australia. So what role does innovation play in your business?
That's a big question. Thank you, Eva. And I'd probably start with saying that many law firms would potentially disagree with your statement that maybe they're slow to move at the moment. There's something called new law, which is incredibly innovative in its service delivery, trying to minimize overheads by delivering basic level law at a sort of more simplistic price point. But when I look at Ray's own journey, I ask myself, what's innovation to me, first of all? And I think at its heart, it's optimism. It's about being inquisitive and searching to improve the established. So we are, by our very nature, inquisitive people. We're surrounded by scientists, attorneys, lawyers, some PhDs, we've got researchers, and we exist to help our clients crystallize that inquisitive nature and the optimism that they hold for their improved product or service offering to the established. And we give them a framework and support them to in the case of a patent, secure a legal monopoly to commercialize the rights of their invention.
How do you actually grow not just at Ray's, but the innovative community that you work with?
I think we coexist. So you acknowledged that Ray's has been in existence for over 100 years. Well, we have a symbiotic relationship with the innovation community, and innovation's a fashionable word and phrase at the moment. But we certainly exist because of the innovation ecosystem, if you like, and we exist to support the innovation that comes from that environment. That could be a bootstrapped startup with one person and a really new idea in its infancy with very little funding. But that could actually stretch to services to research organisations, to all of the universities across Australia, to some fantastic organisations that support innovation. Off the top of my head, I can think of Witwa in WA here. Franklin Women in Sydney is an organisation that supports female researchers in the science area. We support that ecosystem, of course, by providing services, but we're also careful to support that system by educating. And that's a really key concept for us. So educating innovators as to how they should go about securing their intellectual property rights from the very beginning of their journey, right the way through to commercialization of their asset is incredibly important. So I would say education is probably the overwhelming support that we offer to the ecosystem.
You know what, given that you actually see innovation across the entire spectrum from R&D to commercialization, if a CEO or another CEO were to come up to you and ask for advice, what would you say to them is one of the biggest factors for innovative success?
I think the greatest piece of advice I would humbly offer is to accept and embrace fear. Now, that fear may be of failure, it may be of change, it may be of what people may think. Previously, I would have said to be accepting of failure. And And I've tweaked that to be accepting of the fear of failure, because I've noticed that working with all these innovators, as we do, that they are incredibly optimistic, driven, and absolutely certain that they're going to succeed. But that fear, they just embrace it and move on. So embrace the fear would be my advice.
That is great advice. Rob, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Really appreciate having you on If Innovation Could Talk.
Been great fun. Thanks very much, Eva.